Hey there, it's Lacey J, here to ask you to go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, buy yourself some merch, and most importantly, send us a message, a question, fan mail, even hate mail. We'll respond on YouTube. Also, please remember to rate and review the podcast on your favorite app or share it with someone you know who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s, Season 5, Episode 10. It's called He's Our You. It's a Sayid episode, and it's a Christy episode. But first, how's everybody doing this week?
Awesome.
Great.
Maze balls.
Amaze balls. Christy, are you excited to be back with Sayid?
I am.
I thought you would be. And since I've already assigned our season 6 episodes, this will be your last go around with Dear Sayid. But I thought it was the perfect episode for you, considering the ending.
Yeah, we're going to go on a side quest right now.
Indeed, we are. All right, Ben, please update us on what the power rankings look like after Namaste.
After Namaste, we had Aaron got kicked out of the bottom.
Wow.
By Frogert. Well, it was really by E10, but
By
you know,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Frogert
One
slipped,
baby for another.
Yeah. Frogert slipped from second to third with negative 29 points. Charles Woodmore dropped from first to second with negative 31 points, and Ethan, the infant, rocketed to the top, or as we could say, punted to the top, negative 36 points.
That's great.
And at the top, not a whole lot of movement, except for at the very top. Locke stays in third place with 49 points. Dan Faraday stays in second place with 52 points. And Sawyer continues to rocket up to 85 points.
Wow.
He seems untouchable.
Yeah, he's trying to.
with it.
He wants another medal, I guess. He won
Another bottle
season
of
3,
oil.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Christy, take us through your last Sayid quest.
All right. So we actually start in flashback number 1. And the episode opens in Tikrit, Iraq. You see a man speaking Arabic and dragging a young boy from the house, in subtitles saying, come on, you're not a child anymore. Act like a man. You must kill one. And the man points to the chicken coop.
Did you say an infidel? Oh, my God.
So he points at a chicken coop, and the boy says he doesn't want to. The man gets angry and tells the boy he is staying outside until he does it, and then he hands him a knife. A smaller boy approaches from behind and lays his hand on the other boy's shoulder. They look at each other, and the smaller boy opens his hand to show a fistful of chicken feed. He enters the coop and lays down the feed. When a chicken approaches, he grabs it and snaps its neck while the older boy winces.
Whoa.
The bigger boy takes the chicken, and the man approaches again to congratulate him on doing it, but the boy admits it wasn't him who killed the chicken. The man says, well, at least one of you will be a man.
That's right.
And then he kneels before the smaller boy and says, well done, Sayid.
Uh-huh.
I always knew Sayid was a chicken choker.
Yep.
Oh, my
Choke
God.
that chicken.
You notice in one of these scenes when the kid's holding the chicken, it's massive. It's like the size of his torso. And then in the next scene, when he hands it over to the other kid, it's like tiny.
I did not notice that.
I did not.
That, no.
Yeah.
I do have a mini fun fact about this scene, though. Those chickens are what they made Jack's wig out of.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
Looks like it, yeah.
I did also, I want to bring up, this scene is very reminiscent of Mr. Echo and his brother.
Sure.
Yes, it definitely
yeah.
is.
Right? It has that vibe. You know, a chicken dies instead of a human, but, you know, the brother relationship is more what I mean. All right, Christy, Shall we go to 1977?
Yes, ma'am. All right. It is 1977 on the island, and it's day 2 since the Ajir crash.
Mm-hmm.
Sayid is still locked in the security office cell, and young Ben enters the surveillance room and tells Phil he brought the prisoner another sandwich. Chicken salad this time. Side note, I'm going to make some chicken salad tomorrow. I'm excited.
Do you think they did chicken? Do you think they did chicken salad specifically because we just saw him choke a chicken?
Probably.
Oh, maybe. That's kind of funny.
So Phil says to Ben that he doesn't think it's the menu that's keeping Sayid from eating, and it's a waste of time. But Ben says Horace told him to. Phil's just like, whatever. And then young Ben enters the cell room. Ben gives Sayid the sandwich and a book called A Separate Reality by Carlos Castaneda. Sayid thanks him, and Ben asks, "Did Richard send you?" The curious Sayid looks at Ben and says, "Richard, he's your leader, right?" Sayid nods toward the surveillance camera, and Ben says, "It's just a camera. They can see, but they can't hear. 4 years ago, I ran away into the jungle, and Richard found me. I said I wanted to leave, that I wanted to join you. So I've been patient, and if you're patient too, I can help you." Lost title screen.
And this scene is reminiscent of season 2 when Henry Gale was locked up and Sayid was on the other side of those bars.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, flashback number 2, and now we're in Moscow. There's a frantic man who's rushing through a doorway, dropping bags, shutting the door behind him, and deadbolting it. He listens at the door for a moment and hears banging noises. He runs to a cabinet that contains a safe and opens it. Suddenly, Sayid bursts into the room and points a gun at the man by the safe. The man speaks Russian and begs Sayid not to kill him, offering up thousands of euros from the safe.
Shoddy workmanship in this house. Like every one of these doors just comes off its hinges when Sayid kicks it. Like,
Yeah.
so
It's
Said's not
deadbolt.
that big a guy. Like
No.
that can take a pretty powerful person to really knock a door off its hinges like that.
Yeah, I don't think he's very tall, but even a tall man, I don't think could kick through a deadbolt.
No, well, I mean, it depends. Like, if it depends on the quality of the wood, the quality of the metal, the fasteners and all that. But yeah, typically a door is not an easy thing to just kick through. Like, if you could,
So what
you
you're
could put your
saying
shoulder into it.
Is there like doors in Russia are low quality?
I'm
He's
guessing.
5'9".
I think they're probably made of potatoes.
Oh God! Nobody tell Tucker Carlson; he'll cry.
So if they run out of vodka, then they can just use their doors. To make it. The Sayid is 5'9".
Oh yeah, I just looked it up too. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, he's not tall. He's just a badass.
Yeah.
And then of course kills this Russian guy in cold
Yes,
blood.
he shoots the Russian guy. But now we see Sayid walking down the street, and he enters a gated lot. A man in a black coat and a hat stands beside a car. He turns around, and it's Benjamin Linus, who asks, "How'd it go?"
Anybody else think he's dressed like the villain from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
I expected him to turn around and have like bright red tune eyes.
So Ben asks how did it go, and Sayid says the man tried to bribe him, but it didn't work. Sayid wants to know who's next, and Ben says, "No one. You're done. We're done. Andropov was the last one. You've taken
What?
care of everyone who posed a threat to your friends." A big smile crosses Ben's face, and he says, "It's been a pleasure working with you, Sayid."
Oh, my
Said's incredulous, and he says, "So that's it? I killed all those people for you, and now you're just walking away?" And Ben claims that Sayid didn't kill the people for him. He killed the people for himself, or for Sayid and his friends.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got a little mush mouth there.
that's okay.
So he explains that there are no more of Widmore's people to kill. Congratulations, mission accomplished. Sayid looks lost and asks what he's supposed to do now, and Ben replies, "I suppose you should go live your life. You're free, Sayid."
Wow.
He's so dejected. He's like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do now?
Well,
Yeah.
when has Sayid ever been free? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
like he's always had like a mission, at least since we've known him and seen his past and flashbacks and stuff like that. He's a guy that needs a mission almost in the same way that Locke does.
He was free when he was with what's her name in season 1?
Nadia.
No.
Shannon. Right.
Shannon,
and it totally handicapped him.
Yeah, he turned into a useless shite.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, you're right. I guess he had a little free moment there that then ended in tragedy. So like he just does not know what to do.
Think about it. Even then, she was wanting to do rope play, so it was all about bondage and not being free anyway. So,
wow,
take your freedom where you can get it, I suppose.
So 1977 on the island, we have Horace and Radzinski unlocking Sayid's cell. Horace asks him to extend his arms, and then he cuts handcuffs off of him with some clippers. Sayid thanks him, and Horace says, "It's nice to finally hear your voice. I'm Horace." Sayid stays quiet this time, and Horace says, "Now's the part where you tell me your name."
I'm not laughing at Horace. We hate Horace. We hate him.
Right.
I'm not laughing. He's not funny, and I hate him.
But Horace says he needs to know why he was out in the jungle. Radzinski thinks he should ask him about the Swan model, and Horace says, "Radzinski, I've got this."
Yeah, Radzinski, you pain in the ass.
Straight to the bottom of the power rankings with you, Radzinski.
He turns back to Sayid and he says, "Those handcuffs, are you having some kind of problem with your people? Because either you're in some kind of disagreement, which makes me want to help you, or you're a spy trying to infiltrate us. So which is it?" Again, Sayid stays silent. Horace says Sayid has an hour to decide to talk, or this will go to the next level.
I'm going to have to molest the boy.
Yeah, I was like, does next level mean pedophilia?
Yeah.
God.
We see Sawyer walk into the kitchen and he notices bacon frying on the stove. Juliet's just standing and staring out a window. He jokingly asks, "What's on TV?" And then he looks out the window to see Jack and Kate walking by. Juliet quietly says, "It's over, isn't it?" And Sawyer questions her and she says, "This, us, playing house, all of it. I never actually thought they'd come back."
Sawyer's like, "I just asked if I could throw her into the mix every once in a while. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Come on, so dramatic."
Yeah.
Sawyer tells her nothing's changed, but Juliet worries that Sayid will talk. Sawyer promises that Sayid ain't saying nothing, just as there's a knock at the door. Sawyer answers the door and says, "Morning, H." Horace greets Lafleur and Juliet and says he's worried about the prisoner not talking. They need to figure out why they broke the truce, and he's going to have Oldham do his thing on him.
Ew.
Lafleur says, "That psychopath? No way. Just let me have a go at him alone." Horace says, "Be my guest." Sawyer enters the surveillance room and tells Phil to take lunch. Phil is a little reluctant, and he's like, "Go take a lunch, Phil."
To which Phil says, "Sorry, I've already had my fill."
Oh.
Oh, God.
No.
In my world, that's what he said.
Okay.
Sawyer enters the room with the cell and asks Sayid how he's doing. Sayid replies, "A 12-year-old Ben Linus brought me a chicken salad sandwich. How do you think I'm doing?"
Had the chicken turned or something? Like,
Yeah.
Was there not enough mayo? What's your problem?
I know.
It needed salt and pepper.
Okay. I don't know. Ben's pretty salty.
Sawyer says sarcastically, "Sweet kid, huh?"
Ugh.
Sayid is shocked that Sawyer can live with Ben there, but Sawyer says he's got no choice. And Sayid says, "Is that so?"
Yeah, what am I
Sawyer
going to do?
says-
Shoot him?
Right.
Yeah. What?
Sawyer says, "Let's see how you feel after 3 years of living in the 70s. Lucky for
Groovy.
you, I spent that time getting myself into a position to save your ass." Yeah, groovy.
Ben, did you say groovy?
Yeah.
I did.
That would be more the 60s, I guess, but hey.
Oh. Yeah,
Hip.
there's some
Real
overlap
bell
there. Yeah.
bottoms, though.
But Sawyer seems really, really sincere here, where he's like, I'm going to save your ass. And then he opens the cell door and he says, Sayid, I'm sorry. And he headbutts him.
Well, that's just the dumbest opening. You have just as much chance of like fucking yourself up doing that.
Yeah, well, that's not smart. He explains that he needs his people to believe that Sayid didn't give up his confession easily. He says, we're going to say you were trying to defect. You're going to offer some intel on the others in exchange for living with us. Sayid has zero interest in living with the Dharma Initiative and wants Sawyer to let him go. Sawyer says that he can't do that. Sayid doesn't understand why. Sawyer tells him, because these people trust me. I've built a life here, and a pretty good one. I let you go, all that goes away. So you got yourself a choice, Chief. Either you cooperate and join the party in Dharmaville, or you're on your own. And Sayid says, then I guess I'm on my own.
Oof.
Wow.
Why doesn't Sayid want to live there?
Is Ben's there?
Is that it? Just a child Ben, you think?
I think I mean, they just set it up. His entire thing is he's butthurt, basically, that Ben basically, like,
Ben fired him, said,
Ben fired him, essentially, from being the only thing he's ever good at. So now he's, like, lost and pissed off.
Right. Okay.
Now we cut to Hurley, Jack, and Kate in the Dharma cafeteria. Hurley brings food to their table and says, fresh off the griddle. And don't forget to try the dipping sauces. They really bring out the ham.
I love it. Oh, Hurley's assimilated immediately. He's like, cool, I'm cooking in the kitchen. I'm good.
Job as a cook, that's
food,
perfect.
He's good, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Jack thanks him, and Hurley asks about Sayid. Jack says he doesn't know anything yet because Sawyer told him to leave him alone and let him do his job. Hurley seems surprised that Jack's going to listen to Sawyer. Kate says she'll get whatever info she can from Juliet. Hurley finds it unlikely that Juliet will talk if Sawyer won't, since they're together now. Kate says, what do you mean they're together?
Whoop.
Hurley replies, together, as in they live together, like not as roommates, together, like you guys were. I thought it was kind of obvious. I mean, who couldn't see that coming? Jack sternly says Hurley's name, and Hurley politely excuses himself to make more waffles.
Oh, my goodness. I would eat Hurley's waffles in a second.
Oh, hell yeah. And the ham and the dipping sauces, too.
Mm-hmm.
Kate asks if Jack knew about this, and he confirms that he did. Kate sits with more than one emotion across her face.
Woo! Because Kate really likes what she can't have. So, it's almost like Juliet's just a challenge.
It's ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
Inside cell room, Roger Workman Linus enters with a mop and a bucket.
Can we just call him Uncle Rico from now on?
Yeah, seriously. So Uncle Rico starts to mop and says, you know what,
I bet I can throw this football over
them mountains. How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over them mountains?
Sorry.
Are you looking up Uncle Rico? Derek?
Do you not know Napoleon Dynamite, Derek?
Saw it a long time ago.
All right. Well, he plays Napoleon's uncle, Rico.
Okay. This picture comes up with him holding a football. So
yeah, exactly.
Uncle Rico has a real Bundy vibe. Like harkening back to the football days in high school. Yeah. Al Bundy, I mean. Not Ted Bundy. I don't know if he played football.
Which Bundy are we talking about? The serial killer or the shoe salesman?
Right.
The shoe salesman.
Did you see the meme? Did you see the meme with Melania Trump where it's got like Peggy Bundy saying my husband's just a poor shoe salesman, and Melania says mine too.
Mine too.
Oh yeah, I saw something about where he's like selling the finest shoes in the world or whatever.
No,
like
they're
Trump shoes
it's like gold lame sneakers. Yeah.
Okay.
And I just saw this morning there was some maggot who spent $9,000 on a pair of them because they're autographed by Trump.
Oh wow.
So
that's so fucking stupid.
Clearly somebody has extra money. Hashtag Bidenomics.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go, Brandon.
Oh dear God. We did it again. We went down the rabbit
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Political
I'm just going to
rabbit
say
hole.
it. Late stage capitalism. Okay, now we can go back.
Okay. Uncle Rico starts mopping and he says, "You know what I can't figure out? Is how the hell you got caught. You hostiles are supposed to be the kings of the jungle. And how dumb are you that you got captured by these idiots?" While Roger laughs, Sayid says, "And yet you're the one who mops up after them."
Whoop.
Roger says Sayid won't be so cute after Oldham is finished with him.
Oh, boy.
Young Ben enters the room with a sandwich and stops dead when he sees his father. He tries to pretend the sandwich is for his father, but Roger says, "You never made me a sandwich in your life." He grabs Ben by the arm and demands to know why he's there. Ben asks him to stop, but his father pushes him up against the cell bars and forces him to admit the sandwich is for the prisoner. Ben's voice breaks when he admits it, and he says, "I just thought..." But Roger interrupts to say, "You just thought, huh? Go home." Roger lets Ben go. He's crying, and Roger tells him again to go. Ben leaves. Roger looks at Sayid, throws the sandwich at the wall, and slams the door as he leaves.
There's really no reason to waste the sandwich.
And now he's going
Right.
to have to mop again.
I know. He's just creating more work for himself and both fronts. He's not long for this world.
Also, he is a despicable father and human being.
I hated it when I was a kid, and I would say, "I just thought," and my dad would be like, "There you go thinking again."
Oh, yeah. Well, we see what not thinking has gotten your father, the flat earther.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, like, why anyone would discourage thinking,
Yep.
I don't know. But
because they know that their beliefs are so thin and so fragile that if anybody thinks about it, that it won't stand up to any scrutiny.
sure,
That they
that's my
can't
kid.
indoctrinate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he discourages thinking because it meant that I was not going to be indoctrinated by his thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Anyhow, flashback number 3. We're in the Dominican Republic now.
Woo!
Just like Lacey and I will be for the next 5 days starting tomorrow if you listen to this on the day it airs.
Whoop, 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 whoop. We're in Miami right now, having a girls' night out in Miami before we fly to the Dominican. Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too. All right. Sayid is at a Build Our World work site where we've seen him before. He's carrying wood to a shed, and once inside, he senses someone behind him. He turns to see Benjamin Linus and says, "How did you find me?" And Ben replies, "I looked." Sayid inquires about what Ben wants, and Ben says, I fucking hate this.
Oh my
Ben
God.
says, "John Locke is dead. I think he was murdered."
Oh.
You think?
He just uses every factor to his advantage.
Oh,
This
yeah.
man is a master of manipulation. It's like rare that you encounter a character that is just so good at manipulating people. It's pretty incredible.
Sayid is confused as to why anyone would want to kill Locke, and Ben says, "I'd say it was retribution for the work you and I have been doing.
Oh my
So
God.
you're in danger, Sayid. If I can find you, so can the people that found Locke. The same people who, even as we speak, are sitting outside Hugo's mental institution."
Oh, he knows everybody's weakness. He knows
Uh-huh.
everybody's weakness. He just has to mention Hurley, and Sayid is right back in it.
Yep. Ben tells Sayid about the sedan parked outside the hospital, and Sayid is incensed that Ben would suggest he should kill whoever's inside of it. Ben is surprised that Sayid doesn't want to kill him. This annoys Sayid even more, and Ben says, "Sayid, to put it simply, you're capable of things that most other men aren't. Every choice you've made in your life, whether it was to murder or torture, it hasn't really been a choice at all, has it? It's in your nature. It's what you are. You're a killer, Sayid." Sayid denies this, saying he doesn't like killing. And Ben says, "Well then, I apologize. I was mistaken about you."
God, he's so like. First, he like insults him, but then somehow manages it, like to sound as though being mistaken about it was also an insult. Like, how does he do that?
1977 on the island, LaFleur, Phil, Redzinski, and 2 other Dharma members enter the cell room. Sawyer unlocks the cell and gives Sayid one more chance to say something. Sayid stays quiet. LaFleur sighs deeply and then shocks Sayid in the nuts.
Was it really in the nuts?
It looked like he got him right in the crotch.
That's
with
mean.
that zapper, and Sayid was like,
I guess
fell
you
on
would
the floor.
be. What do you think, fellas? If somebody shocked your testicles, would that hurt?
Depends on if that's my thing or not. I mean, I suppose. I'm not so into pain. So my guess is, yeah, that would fucking suck.
Derek, what about your balls? Do you want them shocked? I don't know what you're into.
No, I'm not into ball torture.
All right.
So after Sayid drops to the floor, again, LaFleur sighs and says, take him to Oldham. A Dharma van pulls up in the jungle. The men from the previous scene exit the vehicle with a handcuffed Sayid and approach a tent. A bluesy jazz number is playing on a phonograph just outside of it. It's like a big-ass teepee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Horace calls for Oldham, and a man steps from the tent and lifts the needle from the record. In a lowered voice, Sayid asks Sawyer, who is that man? And Sawyer replies, he's our you.
Ruh-roh.
He's our friend. We made him.
Oldham puts liquid into a sugar cube and tries to feed it to Sayid. When Sayid turns his head, Oldham says, better put him in the restraints. As Sayid is dragged to some restraints that are tied to a tree, Oldham says, this is for your protection.
Mm-hmm.
There are side effects to what we'll be giving him. And when Sayid is restrained, Oldham tells Phil and Redzinski to hold his head. Sayid is force-fed the sugar cube, and Oldham says, don't be afraid. Just turn your mind off. Let it take effect. Sayid tries to charge Oldham, but he's held back by the restraints. Oldham says, it's beyond your control, so fighting it is a poor use of your energies. You'll see. Whether you struggle or not, one thing's for sure, friend. You will tell us the truth.
Woo.
William Sanderson, as an actor, has one of the greatest voices. It's so nervy, and it's like he's just...
Christy just sounded a little bit like him when she was saying the lines.
She did a pretty good job with that. Yeah. I thought so.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I don't know how many people caught what Ben said earlier, but he has one of my favorite lines in the original Blade Runner. When what is her name? Oh God, now I can't think of it.
Pris.
Daryl Hannah. No, yeah,
Pris.
Pris in the movie, but Daryl Hannah meets him, and he says, or she meets the like little toy people, I guess, like walking around in his house, and he's like, "These are my friends. I made them." And it's just like the best. It's the best fucking line. Anyhows.
Flashback number 4. We're back to a familiar scene in the Long Beach Marina. Sun is holding Ben at gunpoint, and he's pleading with her to let him take her to the person who will get them back to the island. Kate says everyone is insane and takes off in her car. Sayid turns to Ben, declaring, I don't want any part of this, and if I see you again, it'll be extremely unpleasant for both of us.
Ooh.
Well, guess he was right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Sayid is now sipping whiskey in a bar when Ilana sits beside him. Sayid orders another McCutcheon, and Ilana asks how much that'll set him back. He says, whatever it is, it's worth it. She orders a ribeye, bloody, and Sayid asks if she is a professional. She says, a professional what? You think I'm a prostitute? I'm not a professional anything. I just thought you looked sad. I like sad men. She scoots closer to him and asks what he does for a living.
Before that, or as she's scooting, and Sayid says, and in response to like, I like sad men, he goes, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Clearly you have mental health issues.
Yeah.
So she asks what he does for a living, and he tells her that he's between jobs.
Oh my.
She asks what he used to do, and he says, The only thing I was ever good at. And she asks him why he quit, and he says, I'm trying to change. Alana says, I know why you're sad now. When you are that good at something, there are always going to be people who tempt you into staying the same. Sayid is curious how she knows so much about temptation, and Alana says, buy me a glass of that scotch and I'll tell you.
It's hot. The scene's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely can see why he was like, are you a professional?
Yeah, I mean, she looks amazing in this scene.
Yeah. 1977 on the island. A drugged Sayid stares blankly into the sky when Oldham says, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I want you to relax and answer them truthfully. Not that you'll have any choice about it. What is your name?
Hold on.
Sayid answers him truthfully.
Can we just pause for 1 second? Because I just want to point out, like, season 5, Sayid is like a fucking wasted for half of it. He spends like 3 episodes in a K-hole, and now he's tripping balls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I found myself in 1977
I might
with
as
a
well trip
12-year-old
too.
Ken Linus, I'd be like, yeah, let's get me fucked up.
I'm going to take this acid cube and I'm going to go out in the jungle and just
I don't think that was
go.
acid.
No.
No, I think. Well,
It's not,
I mean,
it's some sort of truth agent. Like,
Yeah, whatever they call truth serum. Yeah.
right. Okay.
Was it sodium pentothal
we'll
or
talk.
whatever?
Put a pin in it. We'll talk a little bit more about this scene and the drug. What the drug was.
What a fun fact.
Later in this episode, a little bit, yeah, something like that. All right, Christy. Sorry.
Sayid answers Oldham truthfully in a slurred voice. Oldham asks him why he was in handcuffs while running from his people. Sayid said he was handcuffed because he's a bad man, but the hostiles are not his people. Oldham asks him how he got to the island. And Sayid tells him he returned to the island on a Jira Flight 316. Oldham says, returned? You've been here before? Sayid replies, oh yes, the first time I was on Oceanic Flight 815. It crashed. I was here for 100 days. Then I left. Ask Sawyer.
What row?
Suddenly it's convenient that they know him as LaFleur.
Exactly.
Remember?
That's
I
what
think we had a
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing that he made up a name, although I still thought that was stupid at the time. It definitely helps now.
It's Creole.
It's Creole.
Like that, I still don't understand why that mattered.
Which is funny, because look at the next line you're about to read.
Oldham wants to know who Sawyer is, but Radzinski says, who cares? None of this matters. Ask him about the flame. He's so fucking one note.
Oh, he's just obsessed.
Yeah. Oldham asks what Sayid knows about their stations, and Sayid says, I know the flame was a communication station. The pearl was to observe other stations. The swan was to study electromagnetism. But of course, that was before the incident.
Oh.
Radzinski freaks out that Sayid knows the name of the swan before it's even been built, and he screams, he's a spy!
Jesus.
Horace is telling Radzinski to shut up. Just as Sayid says, you're all going to die, you know. I'm from the future.
It's fucking brilliant. Oh my God.
We're all going to die, you know.
Yeah, I know, right? It sounds menacing,
this was
but
great.
Yeah, if you're from the future, then yeah, I'm probably dead.
That's just so great. You're all going to die, you know. I'm from the future. Thinking that Sayid couldn't possibly be telling the truth, Oldham looks at Horace and says, maybe I should have used half a dropper. Oops. Sayid bursts into laughter and says, you used exactly enough.
Sayid.
He knows about the truth serum.
Sayid's a party boy.
Yeah, it's awesome. So now we have Juliet showing Kate around the motor pool, naming all the machines and tools. Kate is clueless when it comes to working in a garage. Juliet brings up her and Sawyer, and Kate admits that Hurley told her already. Juliet says, that's kind of a relief, actually. I wasn't quite sure how to do it without sounding like I was telling you to stay away.
That's valid, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A clearly uncomfortable Kate says, it's fine. The Dharma van carrying Sayid returns to the barracks while Juliet and Kate look on. After exiting the van, both Sawyer and Sayid look to the women.
They're like, let's take them. Force them.
Oh, yeah, that would be hot. Those
Yeah.
four?
A group of
watch.
Dharma members are gathered inside a house, and Horace asks them what they should do with Sayid. Rudzinski immediately says, "We kill him!"
Jesus. All right, quick
LaFleur-
draw.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
LaFleur tries to convince them otherwise, saying, "Since when did we start acting like them? We're civilized." Rudzinski argues that Sayid has seen and knows things and needs to die. LaFleur argues that he escaped his people and isn't a threat. Rudzinski thinks sharing their secrets is how Sayid could be welcomed back by his people.
That's actually a good point, but
Oh, yeah. Horace says he needs more time to consider everything. LaFleur asks for more time with Sayid, but Rudzinski shouts, "No, you had your chance, LaFleur. Horace, you've got to call for a vote. Either we make a decision or I call Ann Arbor and they make it for us."
Ooh, Ann Arbor.
ooh, what the hell's in Ann Arbor?
University of Michigan.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, valid answer.
Amy, holding the little demon Ethan, says, "I can't sleep with one eye open. We have a baby now. We have to think about Ethan.
Ew.
We have to think about all the children here."
That's how that's how every sound argument begins, is think about the children.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, seriously.
How are we going to feel safe with this man alive? Or how are we going to feel safe with this man around? I don't know what he's up to, but we can't keep him here. We have no choice. Horace puts it to a vote, and everyone but LaFleur raises their hand to indicate they'd like to execute Sawyer.
Did you notice here that actually Ethan's little hand went up too?
Yeah, I got that
Shit.
wrong. They're not going to execute Sawyer. They're going to execute Sayid.
Yeah.
Horace looks at
Oh,
LaFleur
shit.
and says, "I would really like to say it's unanimous."
Ugh.
A reluctant Sawyer raises his hand.
Wow.
Flashback number 5. Sayid and Alana burst into a room while intensely kissing.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "Just for the record, I really was just there for the dinner."
Uh-huh.
I'm so glad they didn't do a dessert trope there.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And
Yeah.
now the time for dessert. Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to put the rice pudding on your chest.
Oh
Ew.
my God. Look, you know what? If you're shooting rice pudding out of your dick, you need to get to a doctor immediately.
That would
Seriously.
hurt.
Anything the consistency of rice pudding, and please drink some water and see a doctor.
Yeah, really. Alana says, "Just for the record, I really was just there for dinner." And Sayid jokes, "Are you afraid I'll get the wrong idea?" She laughs, jumps onto the bed, and asks him to remove her boot.
Uh-huh.
As he's unzipping her boot, Alana kicks him in the face twice,
Pow, pow.
throws him onto the bed, elbows him in the face, and pulls a gun on him.
Holy
She
shit.
said, yeah.
And at this, Sayid is harder than he has ever been in his life.
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God. And
He's like, oh, so you want to do this?
Sayid is so easy. All you need to do is send in a honeypot. He fails for it falls for it
every
every
time.
freaking
Yeah,
time.
Every time. Stop thinking with your dick, Sayid.
Yeah, for reals.
So she says, "You asked me earlier if I was a professional. I am a professional. I was hired to bring you to Guam." He wants to know who hired her, and she tells him it's the family of Peter Avellino, the man he killed in cold blood on a golf course last year. Sayid says, "You're a bounty hunter?" And Alana replies, "Does it matter what I am? You're going to answer for what you've done."
Whoa.
Damn.
Well, now we know why he was on the plane.
Yep.
1977 on the island. Sawyer unlocks Sayid's cell and enters to find Sayid sitting on the bed. Sawyer says, "Hit me in the face. Go on. You owe me one anyway, so make it a good one. Then I want you to take these keys out of my pocket and let yourself out." The guard outside is Phil. He's a dimwit, so I reckon you can get his gun before he even realizes you're out. Just promise me you won't shoot him. Sayid thanks him, but he says he's fine. So Sawyer lets him know he's going to be killed. He says, they just took a vote. Even the new mom wants you dead.
Damn.
Sayid replies, I'm going to stay here, James.
James? Has he ever called him James before?
I don't think so. I noticed that.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Sawyer's confused because Sayid begged him to let him go just this morning. Sayid says, when I woke up in the jungle and I realized I was back on the island, I felt there was no purpose to it. But now I know exactly why I'm here.
Oh, boy.
Sawyer says that Sayid is out of his mind and he leaves him in the cell. Sawyer returns home but changes his mind on the doorstep and walks across to Kate's house. He knocks and she answers. They say hello, and then Sawyer asks why she came back. He says, Sayid just filled my ear full of some crap about his damn purpose, and I want to know, why'd y'all come back? She says, I don't know why everyone else came back. I just know why I did.
Stay tuned next week. Season 5, episode 11.
Just then, a burning Dharma van goes speeding past them through some fences and into a house, which immediately bursts into flames.
Like, was
Sawyer
that house
says,
soaked in gasoline or something?
It went up really quickly.
Yep.
Sawyer says, what the hell? And they both take off running towards the burning wreck. A woman smashes out a window of the burning house and climbs to safety. Sawyer's directing others to open valves and get a hose. The house is nothing but flames now. Jack runs to Sawyer and asks him what happened. Sawyer says, 3 years, no burning buses. Y'all are back for 1 day. Get on that hose.
Well, you know, why didn't he ask Horace to fight the fire?
Yeah.
Was Horace there?
I just think it's because you can lead a horse to water, but
Oh, God, you set up your own joke, you motherfucker. God damn it. The listeners cannot see Ben, like, throwing his arms up like a champion right now.
Yes. He is
Jesus
the champion.
Christ. I feel for Sawyer, though. I really do. You know, I think Juliet sees it coming more than Sawyer does. That, like, you know, she said it a couple scenes ago. It's over, isn't it? You know, and Sawyer, like, he's not believing it. He finally has the life probably that he never thought he would have. And they've come back to this island and just piece by piece by piece, it's all falling apart. And when he says that, yeah. I almost said when he says that because I don't know why I would say that. Anywho's, when he says that to Jack, it sounds funny. It's a funny line, but at the same time, it's just sad for Sawyer because he's, I think, slowly coming around to Jesus Christ, this happy time is over.
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
No more playing house.
Yeah.
Juliet runs over and grabs a hose as well. LaFleur is calling all security to building 15 on the walkie. Phil gets the call, and as he's leaving the security office, a small hooded figure sneaks into the office and enters the cell room. Sayid said, what happened to your glasses? Young Ben is wearing bent and taped glasses, and he replies, my dad. Sawyer is appalled that this happened over bringing him a sandwich and mentions his father was a hard man too.
It was actually Sayid, not Sawyer. You're so funny that you keep
doing that.
That's okay.
Sawyer on your mind.
I mean, I've done that like the whole time we've been doing the podcast. I mix up Sayid and Sawyer. I don't know why.
It's like Ben with Booth.
Booth.
Yeah,
just comes out.
I think I did that once, and you guys perpetuated it.
Yes, we perpetuated the Booth.
Negative. I beg to differ. I will go back in those early seasons. There was one time where you said it like 3 times in a row, and that's why we made it a joke.
All right, I'll hold you to that. And you go find that in those old seasons.
All right. Okay.
It probably would have just been season 1.
Yeah.
So Ben says, I really hate it here. If I let you out, will you take me with you to your people? Sayid replies, yes, Ben, I will. That's why I'm here.
Oh.
Derek, did you believe him in this moment?
No.
What did you think Sayid was going to do instead?
What happens?
Really? You thought so? Okay.
Yep.
I remember buying it. I remember buying it in the first time that I watched it because I was thinking, okay, here's coming like a redemption moment from Sayid. Everybody his whole life has told him like he's nothing but a killer, and including Ben. And I was thinking, here's his chance or to prove Ben wrong, and that
People
I thought
don't change.
I thought
that.
he was going to take it. So I was shocked by the ending the first time I saw it.
All right, flashback number 6. A handcuffed Sayid is being walked through the LA International Airport by Alana. Sayid spots Hurley at the checkout counter and says, "Are you sure we're going to Guam?" Alana replies, "Where else would we be going?"
Well, there's this
Yeah, why
magic
Guam?
island,
Right.
and
Sayid sees Jack and Kate and asks Alana if they can take the next plane because he's superstitious about flying. Alana says, "I'll buy you a rabbit's foot at the gift shop. This is the plane we're taking."
Love it.
I don't think that he protested enough. If he had just
No.
said, "Look at all of the other people who are here. The Oceanic Six
right.
are here. Do
Yeah.
you really think it's smart to get on this plane?"
I
Lacey
actually
thinks so.
the reason why I think Guam might actually make sense because the man that he killed him on a golf course in the Seychelles.
Yep.
The Seychelles are in the
Okay.
Indian Ocean, and that might
Yeah.
this could be a midway point to do a drop off to meet with whoever's paying her to pick this guy up.
Right. Which is essentially like that's sort of what we posited. It didn't say that we didn't think it was a victim's family or anything, but we wondered if like it was a government stop or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Ben, I really thought you were about to just set up another dad joke.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Sayid and Alana are now on the plane, and he spots Sun a few rows back. Alana apologizes for the handcuffs just as Ben boards the plane, and Hurley freaks out. Sayid asks Alana if she's working for Benjamin Linus, and she says, "Who is Benjamin Linus?" Sayid tells her that he's a manipulator who allowed his daughter to be murdered to save himself and committed nothing short of genocide. Alana says, "Why would I work for somebody like that?" And Sayid replies, "I did."
Ugh.
1977, back on the island. We're back in the barracks, and young Ben unlocks the cell door to set Sayid free. They run through the jungle, but get caught in the headlights of an oncoming Dharma van. Ben trips and falls, and Sayid says, "Hide!" The van stops, and Jin steps out with a flashlight and a gun.
Damn it, Jen.
They greet each other, and Sayid lies and says Sawyer set him free because they voted to kill him. Just then, Phil comes over the walkie-talkie and says, "Attention! The prisoner escaped. The hostel is no longer in custody. Be on the lookout. He could be armed." Sayid says they don't know he released them and asks Jin to let him go. Jin agrees, but says he needs to radio Sawyer first. As he's doing this, Sayid grabs him, throws him down, and punches him unconscious.
Aw.
Very impressed, young Ben says, "Whoa, where'd you learn to do that?" Sayid picks up Jin's gun, and Ben says, "Come on, we better go. He called the floor." Sayid says, "You were right about me." A confused Ben says, "What?" And Sayid says, "I am a killer." And then he shoots Ben in the chest. Ben hits the ground. Sayid lowers his gun and wipes a tear from his eye before taking off into the jungle. Lost title screen,
Ooh.
end of episode.
And Christy was standing up cheering.
Got him.
I wasn't not happy about this.
And that's why I thought it was the perfect episode for you, dear.
Thanks, Lacey.
Well, you're welcome. Shall we do some fun facts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This week, Ben gives Sayid a book he says he read twice. It's called A Separate Reality by anthropologist Carlos Castaneda. I promise not to Gilgamesh you, but we're
Thank
going to
God.
talk about the topic and the themes and who this author was, because there are some interesting parallels to this episode. So, the book was published in 1971. It's the second in a series. Upon Carlos Castaneda's death in 1998, the series had sold more than 8 million copies and had been published in 17 different languages. The series titles are The Teachings of Don Juan, a Yaqui Way of Knowledge, this week's book, A Separate Reality, Further Conversations with Don Juan, and Journey to Axland, The Lessons of Don Juan. And I probably pronounced that wrong. It's a Mexican city spelled Ixtlan. And I'm sure I just butchered that. I apologize.
Ixtlan.
Yeah. So
I think it's Oxland.
is it? Did I say it okay? Okay. And also,
I don't really know.
When I say the Yaqui, this is I'm going to explain who the people are. It is spelled Yaqui, in case you're interested. So Castaneda published the series based on his apprenticeship with a self-proclaimed Yaqui sorcerer named Don Juan Matus between 1960 and 1965. Side note, the Yaqui people are a Native American people from Arizona and also indigenous to northern Mexico, which is where this Don Juan came from. So the series describes Don Juan's attempts to get the author to learn how to see the process of perceiving energy directly as it flows through the universe by giving him mushrooms and peyote. Which is why I assumed that Sayid was tripping balls, because that is the correlation to the book. So Castaneda was awarded his bachelor's and doctoral degrees from the University of California in Los Angeles based on the work he described in these anthropology books. The veracity of these books was doubted from their original publication, and even though they are classified as nonfiction by the publisher, there is consensus among critics that they are largely, if not wholly, fictional, because the events described in the book were not consistent with other ethnographic accounts of the Yaqui cultural practices. So other anthropologists looked at this and concluded that it was unlikely that this Don Juan had ever participated in Yaqui culture. So it looks like either the author went for like some psychedelic trips with a lunatic who claimed to be something he wasn't, or he made the entire fucking thing up and got 2 degrees on false reports, I guess, or false novels. So many scholars, when I say there's a consensus that this never happened, then there's a step further where some other scholars have outright accused him of making up, like fabricating the sorcerer altogether, that he just doesn't exist at all. So Don Juan has many teachings in the book series. So here are a few. The sorcerer Don Juan believed that reality is created by infinite number of luminous eggs that exist beyond a human's reach. The fiber of these eggs assemble reality, but the average person does not realize that they are there. The warrior, however, can enter the eggs of others so that they can transcend bodily death by dissolving themselves into the luminous fibers of the egg. I am going to say, put a pin in that. And when we get done with season 6, we're going to talk more about that. Another teaching from Dear Don Juan, dreaming is the easiest way to communicate with higher consciousness. Of course, dreaming, in his definition, is induced by the use of hallucinogenic drugs. Do we remember Locke has tried this?
Mm-hmm.
And has communicated with others while tripping balls? Well, I guess Booth did too, right? That's when he saw his sister die.
Yep.
So according to Don Juan, one must use meditation to still the voice of their consciousness so the true nature of reality can speak to them. Through peyote, obviously. Within the series, Don Juan is quoted hundreds of times, and here are a few. Nothing is pending in the world, nothing is finished, yet nothing is unresolved. A warrior takes responsibility for his acts. For the most trivial of his acts, he waits patiently, knowing that he is waiting and knowing what he is waiting for. That is the warrior's way. A A warrior thinks of death when things become unclear. The idea of death is the only thing that tempers our spirit. And lastly, I found this one particularly interesting considering Locke's journey so far this season. By the time knowledge becomes a frightening affair, the man also realizes that death is the irreplaceable partner that sits next to him on the mat. Every bit of knowledge that becomes power has death as its central force. Death lends the ultimate touch, and whatever is touched by death, indeed, becomes power.
All right.
What do you think about that?
Deep.
This guy, he's a warrior, right?
Yeah, it sounds a lot like he's done a lot of peyote, is what it sounds like. So,
I mean, a guy that talks like that. You show me a guy who talks like that, I'll show you a guy who doesn't have any money in the bank.
Oh, okay,
Christ.
yeah, all right. I think you have the same reaction to that than as you do to people saying namaste in general conversation. It's all a little bit of the
just a
same
bunch of fucking nonsense.
priesty shit. Yeah,
Yeah, like I mean,
right.
somebody might hear that and go, "Oh, wow, that's really deep," or "That's really no, it's not. That's just fucking prattle."
It's a deepity. Have you ever heard anyone use the word deepity? Yeah, a deepity is something that sounds profound until you break it down and realize it's absolute fucking nonsense.
Oh, I thought you said DP.
No. No, that's when you have two wieners and, okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into best and worst moments. I want to start with Ben this time.
Best and worst moments. Let's see. I'm going to start with my favorite, which is that scene of that V-dub bus on fire.
It was brilliant.
That was fucking hilarious.
Yes, I loved it.
My least favorite was Amy's "What about the children?" little thing, and then obviously the scene where Roger Workman was like, "You didn't make me a sandwich," and then essentially abuses his kid in front of Sayid.
Yeah. Derek, what about you?
My best moment wasn't because it was my favorite moment, but it was just like a best moment was whenever Sayid shot a young Ben.
Yeah. All right.
And I kind of thought he was going to do it, but I didn't know if he was going to actually 100% go through with it.
Uh-huh.
Because he was trying to change, or he thought he was trying to change, but I am a killer.
So you were rooting for him to shoot Ben. Why? You just want to see what will happen?
Yes. I mean, even though I know that they can't change the past, it's worth a shot.
Yeah. All right, your
little
worst.
Ben in there. Speaking about Ben.
Oh my goodness.
And worst moment was Roger beating his son for making a sandwich.
Yeah, he's a scuzz.
Fucking asshole.
I felt the same way as you, Derek, about that moment. I had Sayid shoots young Ben as my best and my worst moment. I will explain. It was the best moment because now we get to see how this time travel thing will work itself out, right? And so I'm like, okay, I don't want to see a kid get shot, but now what happens? And
yes, you do.
Well, I mean, maybe Aaron, but God. I want to say, though, we will dive deeper into this idea of what is happening in the rules of time travel and 2 more fun facts coming up this season. One next week and then also episode 15. So get excited for that. My worst moment, again, saying it's the same moment because Jesus fucking Christ, he shot a kid. I can't, Jesus.
Yep.
He actually
Who gave
shot
you a sandwich?
Yeah, I mean, I know that. Right. I know that we joke about killing kids, but I don't actually want to do that. So that's why that ended up in the worst.
Would you kill Hitler?
Well,
as a kid,
I'm going to tell you
what he did.
I'm going to tell you what, Derek. Put a pin in that because we are going to talk about that scenario. I think it's episode 15's fun facts, but we are diving deep into the physics of time travel at the end of this season in our fun facts. So get excited. Yeah. Christy, how about you? Best and worst moments?
Well, honorable mention goes to, don't forget the dipping sauces. They really bring out the ham.
I love it. I love to see Hurley just like, he's still, I guess now he's the chef of Dharmaville, like mayor of Island Town. He's the chef of Dharmaville, but he always just finds a way to be happy. Have you noticed that? I love him.
He didn't want to go back.
Yeah, honestly, he's miserable, like really, in his home life after winning the lottery.
Wearing a bathrobe the whole time.
Or wearing a bathrobe. Like, he's just happier. He's better on the island. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite moment was, you're all going to die, I'm from the future.
Oh my God. I really want to just put that quote on a t-shirt. That would be fun, even like without our logo, to just put that on a t-shirt. It would be hilarious.
I would wear that. I want like a racerback tank top, but yeah, I wear that.
Okay. I will put that on my Christmas shopping list for you.
For worst moments, these are you.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
Good line.
It's a really good line. It's also a good title to the episode.
I know. Is he really your you? I mean, he gave you drugs, which were probably fun. He didn't hammer nails under your fingernails or hammer bamboo under your fingernails.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that might have been next.
All right. Okay. Those were all our best and worst moments. I'm excited for power rankings. Let's start with Derek this time.
Okay, so my third worst was Roger Workman for beating his son. My second worst was Radzinski because he's still being a fucking pain in the ass.
He is a pain in the ass.
And my worst was Amy Goodspeed because she wanted to kill Sayid to protect Demon Ethan.
All right. Your top.
Third best. Yep, third best was Juliet, she realizes it's almost over, but still being, civil to Kate. And second best is Sawyer, for trying to save Sayid.
Yep.
Not wanting to vote for his execution, all that good stuff. And then the best was Sayid. I just liked him in this episode. He was really good.
Sayid is a badass.
And shooting young Ben for, he thinks he might change the future.
Right. I can understand why he did it. It's just like,
me too.
I don't even know if I could bring myself to like shoot a child. I don't know. We'll get more into the Hitler question later about what we think about that. But go ahead.
So I'm gonna fuck Kate and Juliet. They need that. And I'm gonna kill Amy Goodspeed.
All right, Amy's got to kill. Okay, yep. Ben, what did you think of this week's power rankings?
I only had two on the bottom. I had Amy Goodspeed in second place, and then obviously Roger Workman. I mean, come on. In the top, I'm going to put Oldham in the top just because I'm glad to see William Sanderson on the show. It's not even really Oldham. It's just William Sanderson. I really like him as an actor. Yeah. Second, I'm going to put Alana because those fucking boots, man, that was just kicking. And then and put Sawyer in the top spot because he's, obviously he's doing what he can and doing everything he can to try to, keep things from spinning out of control.
Indeed.
I'm going to kill Roger. And I'm going to fuck Alana while Sayid chokes his chicken.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I'm going to go next. I have Horace as my third worst because he bullied LaFleur during the vote, and also he marries a child in the future. So, third worst. Second worst, I have Ethan because he's the one who made Amy Goodspeed lobby against Sayid, that little demon. And at the top,
plus he raised his hand. I guess he probably has a hoof, actually.
Yeah.
like Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
All right, and at the top I have Radzinski because God damn it, just calm the fuck down. Third best, I have Ilana. And I know last week I had her in my bottom because I said I didn't trust her. But this week I have her in the top because I love hot chicks that whoop ass. So Sawyer I have in the second spot because he's doing the best that he can. And at the top, I have Benjamin Linus, and I have to feel like I have to defend it. So here we go. He took the chance on freedom from his father, and that is actually an incredibly brave thing for a child to do.
Oh, yeah.
And also, you know, I feel like I understand him a little better. He's an abused child, which we have seen before, but I think that he was just looking for a safe place to go, and he thought that it was with the others, and he thought that Sayid was how he was going to get there. I'm assuming, you know, Richard told him, if you're patient, you know, you'll get here, and so he assumed it was Sayid. And actually, we'll talk more about that next week. But I think young Ben did a brave thing in running away from his father. And so that's why I have him at the top. I am going to fuck Sayid. I did not put him in the top because I was mad that he actually shot a child. However, I'm going to give him some points by fucking him because he looked hot as fuck when he was angry and tied up to that tree, like lunging forward. I was just like, whoa. In fact, I might keep the tied up to the tree part of the fuck. I'm gonna kill Roger Workman because he's like beating up his kid who's doing a nice thing by bringing someone a sandwich. It's just ridiculous, and I fucking hate him. Christy, how about you?
All right. Third from the bottom, I have Amy for birthing demon Ethan and wanting to kill Sayid.
Mm-hmm.
Second from the bottom, I have Sayid for thinking with his dick again.
Oh, wow. All right.
I thought it was for shooting Ben Linus.
No, I think that's why he's in her top, which I can see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dick thinking, not good. Not good.
Yeah. And then at the top of the bottom, I have adult Ben.
Okay. Adult Ben.
Yes. For my top, in third place, I have Sayid for shooting kid Ben. I have Hurley for dipping sauces. And I have Sawyer for trying to save Sayid and just doing everything that he could for people that he cares about.
All right.
I'm going to jump in that bed with Sayid and Alana.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then I'm going to kill Ben.
All right. Benjamin.
Yeah.
Could you update us? What do the power rankings look like after episode 10?
They look exactly the same, to be honest. I mean, nobody's really switched places. We still have Frogert in the bottom three, Charles Widmore and Ethan rounding out the bottom. No real changes
there.
I
mean, Ethan just got
lost a few points.
3 more negative points. Yeah. Okay.
Still have Locke, 49 points, no change. Dan Faraday in second place, 52 points, no change. And Sawyer.
That's amazing. Like, they have both been out of most of these episodes, right? But still nobody is catching them.
Yeah.
And then
Sawyer's just totally running away with it now. I mean, he's at 101 points. Dan Faraday is the closest with 52. So looks like it's Sawyer's race to lose this year.
Yeah, he's almost double. All right, well,
we do have some there. There is some movement, though, but like just below the surface there, we've got like Redzinski is starting to get close to breaking into the top or into the bottom.
Breaking it. Yeah, he could do that.
yeah. And, you never know what's going to happen at the bottom because especially with our affinity for killing children and our, you never really know what's going to happen.
Okay. Wow. So, yeah, Sawyer's like almost double Dan Faraday's points.
Yeah.
But we do have the variable episode 14 coming up, and it's a Dan Faraday. I have hope that he can. I don't even know if it's mathematically possible, actually. So I don't. I'm not really sure.
I'm not sure if it is.
All right. So let's talk some final impressions of episode 10. Christy, how'd you feel about your last Sayid episode?
It was a great episode. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed it. Sayid is just an awesome character in my opinion. And it was also, like you said, cool to cool to see the young Ben stuff, but it was interesting to see the stuff with Ben and his dad.
Yeah. All right. Ben, what you think?
I thought this was a really good episode. To be honest, I have a little problem tracking Sayid's motivations here. Like, I get that, he thinks Ben is this, this evil mastermind, and he's gonna, he basically decides to kill him here. But I'm still having trouble seeing exactly where it's coming from. Like, they show him earlier in the episode, like a little puppy dog, getting butthurt that, mission accomplished. Oh, what do I do now? And it's like, I almost feel like there had to have been something more wrong done to him in order for him to have this sort of visceral reaction to the point where he's going to murder a child. Other than that,
I wonder. I think. So let me posit this to you and see if it changes your mind at all. Is that like, Sayid was one of the Oceanic Six. He spent no time on the island when they were time traveling. He has not talked to Daniel Faraday about any of this. And he has not heard from Daniel that you can't change and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So maybe what he thinks is like, I lost my purpose. First, my purpose was Nadia, or my purpose was keeping people safe on the island, or my purpose was keeping them safe by being a hitman. Now, I think my purpose is to keep them safe by killing Ben and making him not exist because he doesn't grasp that shooting him may be for naught. Make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
So do you think that's enough of a motivation then to make sense?
If it were, I would love to have seen that written a little more explicitly into the episode.
I see. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess you have to piece that together over, many episodes to kind of come to that conclusion. Yeah.
You do. And with people moving around so much and jumping through time and, not even knowing which reality we're in, I think it falls to the writers to make that clearer. I don't think they accomplished that in this episode. So that piece of it felt a bit tenuous to me. But other than that, the rest of the writing was really good. Everything that was happening with even though it didn't, there weren't a lot of scenes like it, but with like Kate and Juliet and just that sort of, that brewing sort of tension there, even though Juliet seems to be very composed and everything, you can kind of feel things, the threads starting to fray. So yeah, it was a good episode.
All right. I loved this episode. I am fascinated by the idea that adult Ben, in an attempt to manipulate Sayid, calls him a killer, which leads Sayid to end up back on the island, because that's how he convinces him to get back involved. And then he lands in 1977, where in an attempt to keep Ben from ever getting to the others and being a problem, he shoots him, which, spoiler alert for next week, Derek's already seen the episode, which eventually leads him to the others. And so this, like, the fact that we're getting into these sort of like time loops and things, like, I have a hard time giving a final impression with this without knowing what's coming next, especially because we're recording both of those episodes today. But it's, like I said, that's why part of the reason that my favorite moment is that he got shot, because we've been caught up in this like almost never ending, or felt like it was going to be never ending time jumping. And we're all like exhausted from those episodes. And now all of a sudden we're starting to get some answers, some tests of like, how will this actually affect and what does time travel mean and what's possible and what's not. And this is really like the first little nugget of that when he shoots him, because now something we know to not be true in the future has happened, and it just sets it up, and it gets me so fucking excited. Again, stay tuned. Episode 11 and episode 15, Fun Facts, where we explore these ideas more. Okay. Derek, what did you think of season 5, episode 10, He's Our You? And any more questions?
Yeah, I thought it was a really great episode. We find out, how Sayid got in the handcuffs and why he's on the flight.
Yeah.
That answered a question from before. Young Ben gets shot. So is that going to change the future? That's pretty much my question is shooting and maybe killing Ben, because, we don't know if he dies yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to change the future?
Right. Well, you will definitely have an answer to that. And like I say, we'll talk more in depth about the physics of that. Okay, but before I go into the next week spiel, I do want to remind everybody, Christy and I will be spending the next 5 days in the Dominican Republic at an all-inclusive resort. Those days are March 7th through the...
Good Lord.
No,
Yeah.
let me finish. Those dates are March 7th through the 11th of 2024, in case you found us at some later time. But what I wanted to say is, if you want to see pictures of us having fun and waving to you, you can go to my Facebook page, Zero Shame 40s, because I will post some photos there. All right. Now, the next week's spiel. Wednesday, March 13th, join us for Whatever Happened. It's season 5, episode 11. It's a Kate episode, and what? It's a me episode. Oh, shit, yeah.
What?
I am back presenting one episode for this season. Join us as we learn some of the rules of time travel, dive deep into some physics, and find out why Kate really came back to the island. See you then. Bye.
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 Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacey J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook and SpaceBear_Media on Instagram and Threads. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube for extra video content. Or for everything in one place, go to spacebearmedia.com.